Hey dads, this is Michael, your Toronto correspondent, talking to you about the Switch. Uh, Long and short of it, it was a great event and I loved going, both as a regular viewer and lover of Nintendo and for you guys. Just a little bit of background on how I got to go. It obviously wasn't for you guys originally. I went as a My Nintendo subscriber, member thing, and I got a ticket in early January. Then I knew that you guys would probably want some hands-on experience from somebody, be it one of the members of your community or you guys. And since none of you guys come to Toronto, I volunteered. First off, I want to talk about the interview that I got to put on for the show. I got to interview Andrew from the PR team, and I just have a few notes from that I'm going to read off for you. So a lot of these questions that I asked him were things that you guys brought up in, I think, episode 112 of the podcast. And it's just stuff that wasn't in the kind of reading between the lines of the press releases and the interviews and everything. So I started off with the app that was mentioned. I wanted to know what the capabilities were, or how it would do the matchmaking, the lobbies, etc. Would it sync with the Switch? Would it be standalone? And unfortunately, Andrew did not have an answer for me, like with a lot of these questions. It was something that they just weren't talking about yet, unfortunately. So this event was for the Switch. It wasn't for the app. It wasn't for the subscription service. Once the Switch launches, then they'll start talking about the app and the subscription service, and the games and whatever. So unfortunately, that and the subscription monthly games question that I had were nixed. eShop will be available at launch, mainly due to Zelda and Snipper Clips that are both going to be available at launch. Discount on pre-purchased games on eShop, whether or not you're going to have to pay full price or get a discount on getting Mario RPG. And he did not have an answer for that. Again, it's not something he's been discussing. The IR sensor on the Joy-Cons. I think it was Josh, I want to say, who was talking about whether it was kind of hoping that the IR sensor would be able to do more than just watch you pretend to eat a hamburger. And unfortunately, that's all it's going to be able to do. The IR sensor is really only capable of distinguishing a rock, paper, scissors motion in your hands. So I think it's mainly there for 1-2 switch or maybe something down the road. Justin, you were asking for dual voltage, and Andrew was not entirely sure if it was, but he said he didn't think it wouldn't be. He figured it would be because of it being region free. He imagined that you'd be able to. I'm not entirely sure what dual voltage meant, but I assume it means that you'll be able to use it in North American power outlets and European, UK power outlets. If that's correct, then yes. In terms of the actual event, I'm going to talk about the games I played first. I got to play Has Been Heroes. I liked it. It was okay. It's not something I'm probably going to get. Basically, it's if you think of Plants vs. Zombies, it's kind of like that. You have three different rails, or three different lanes rather. You have a hero in each, and you can switch the heroes to each of the lanes, whatever. And then you have, on this side, you have monsters coming this way, and you have to hack and slash them. And every attack you make, there's a cooldown period. So there's physical attacks, there's magic. Everyone can cast a spell. Everyone can make a physical attack. And there's 2 princesses there to catch any coins and points that you collect while you're hacking and slashing. I found it to be a bit confusing. Then again, it was my first time both with the game and with a Switch. So I imagine if I was to get it, it would just take a bit of time to get used to it. I found myself accidentally switching heroes between lanes because A is to attack, but X, Y, and B are buttons for the different lanes. And if you press, say, B and X, those two heroes will then switch. And that's good for if, like, say, if you're down the road, your cooldown times are longer, and you've got a line of like you've got a monster coming towards your middle lane guy. Your lower lane guy can switch and then make the attack, and then you switch back, and maybe your original middle lane guy will then cool down by then, and then he can attack again. So there's a bit of strategy involved, and quickness that's involved. But it's not. It was something that was interesting, but it's not quite for me. ARMS, I got a playthrough. I also tried to get up on the stage to play through it, but unfortunately, they didn't call on me. I did wait like 10 minutes once they called it, and I was waiting in the right next to the stage, but the host seemed to be calling either people he knew, like maybe he met the guy before, or I don't know if one of them had a press badge, and he was just, brings his friend along. I don't know. It kind of sucked that in my Mario costume, I didn't get to be on there. But I did get to play ARMS. It felt very arm flaily. I was having a bit of trouble with the motion controls because I was using the Joy-Cons as boxing gloves like they do in the trailer. And I found it to be a bit arm flaily. I had a bit of trouble dashing. Like you press L to dash and move your arms, or move them, tilt the Joy-Cons in either direction to dash in a direction as opposed to just walking. But I found difficulty dashing forward because I ended up just punching. So that might be something that you'd want to use a Pro controller on, or the Joy-Con controller. Or you can practice with the motion controls and be awesome at it. It was cool that you can punch and then twist your hand to get a curve and get some surprise in there. And then there was like a hit meter, and if you filled up and started flaring up, you could do a super attack, and you hit the LZ and RZ buttons, and that will trigger your like super punch, and you just punch as much as you can. And it was kind of cool. I liked it. It's something that I'm going to pick up for sure whenever I get a Switch, because I have not pre-ordered it because I'm going to wait until my birthday, personally. My birthday is after launch, and I'm good waiting. I didn't play Street Fighter, but it looked amazing. There's a huge difference between the retro styling and the HD styling, the graphics. And if I was to get Street Fighter, I'm not a huge Street Fighter guy, but if I was to get it, I would play all the time on the HD version. Evil Ryu and Violent Ken looked cool. Again, I'm not a huge Street Fighter guy, so I don't know who else was added from Street Fighter 2. But it looked cool. Splatoon, I played. Splatoon it felt a lot like regular Splatoon, which is a good thing, I suppose. What was new was there was from what the demo had, there was a new gun, or I guess two new guns, the Splat Dualies, which were dual pistols that you can use, and two new cool things about the Splat Dualies. When you are shooting and you press B, instead of jumping, you do a dodge roll now, which is pretty cool. And with the Splat Dualies, like the basic Splat Dualies, you get a jetpack for your special power when your splat meter goes all the way up. So you can press down on the right hand C stick, just like you did with, I think, the regular Splatoon. And so the jetpack then raises you up. You shoot ink out of the two nozzles, and as you move, anybody that's under you when you're passing by them then gets splatted. The roller also had a new Superman punch special ability, You jump in the air, and you punch down, and a wave of, I believe, a wave of ink. Either a wave of ink that kind of splats you, or just the fact that you land on somebody splats somebody. I wouldn't know. I didn't get a chance to use it, and whenever I got splatted, I didn't really see what was happening. I just was disappointed that I got splatted. I used the Pro controller with it, and a cool thing about the Pro controller, it's basically the Joy-Con controller, but it's all one big package. It's got the same movement, the motion control sensor. It's got the same layout. It's got the same feel, but you don't have to take out the Joy-Cons to do whatever you need to do. And I found it to be very cool. I'm not usually a Pro controller guy, but that might be, it'll probably be an option for me for when I have a friend over or something, if Splatoon could be played locally, because that's one of the things that I didn't like about the original Splatoon. You couldn't play locally. Another new thing about Splatoon, the X button. Now, you know when you go, you do that big inkling squid jump, the big squid jump that you can go to the other side of the map if you want. X gives you access to the map. So you can do that, and then you kind of motion control your direction that you want to go, as long as it's within your ink, and then you press A, and you just fly off. Mario Kart I played. I got to play a few different styles of Mario Kart. By that I mean I did a few of the different Mario Kart stations. They had, and you're gonna see this right now, they had four different stations showing off the versatility of the Switch. And the two that I did were the ones on the outside: the Mario Cafe, doing the battle mode, 4-player battle mode in tablet mode, and the airplane, doing tabletop mode. I'll talk about the hardware and the different modes in a second, but it felt really good in tablet mode to be playing Mario Kart. The thing I didn't super like was tabletop mode, at least in a multiplayer setting. I was playing 2-player multiplayer for the Mario Kart in the airplane in tabletop mode, and it felt too squished. I probably will not play multiplayer unless, of course, I have like someone who, it won't be my first option, let's just say that. I didn't get to play at the home station for the TV mode for Mario Kart, and I did get a few different feels for tablet mode in other games, but what I do regret not trying out is the new wheel. There's apparently a wheel that you just slide the Joy-Cons in, and it's like the Wiimote wheel. So that's something I wish I tried, but I didn't. The last game I got to play was Zelda. I stood in line around the end of the event, and I got in and played about 10-15 minutes of the E3 demo, which was, it was really interesting. I didn't get to do a heck of a lot just because I didn't have a lot of time. I did skip the old man, and a lot of my time was eaten up by the cinematic at the beginning. I kind of just wanted to skip that and go and explore. But I beat up some bokoblins, I got some weapons, I climbed some trees, climbed some mountains, and it was interesting. I had a lot of fun. I talked about the Pro Controller, I talked about TV mode. I didn't get to do... Oh no, I did get to use TV mode with Zelda and with Splatoon. And with Has-Been Heroes. And that felt, yeah, it felt good. Tabletop mode I didn't particularly like, but I was also doing multiplayer. Tablet mode felt good. It's about the size of an iPad, I'd say. If you have an iPad, you can kind of gauge with the Joy-Cons in it. It was about that size. Yeah, that was the event, and I loved going, and I hope to work with you guys in the future. This is your Toronto correspondent and Nintendog dad, Michael, signing out.